Welcome back. A proposal for a TransCanada Natural Gas Pipeline under the Potomac River in Washington County has met with the resistance of activists within the county who are calling for Governor Hogan to put a stop to the project from moving forward. Ron, what can you tell us about the project and what are your feelings on this pipeline?
TransCanada happens to be the company that's putting the Keystone XL pipeline in, okay? They're coming here.
And they have a lot of pipelines in.
Yes.
All over the place.
The heartache that I have is I don't want to see fracked gas coming out of Bedford, Pennsylvania, going over to Berkeley County, West Virginia to support Procter & Gamble without Washington County and the state of Maryland saying, stop here at the border. Before you go anywhere, we're getting a piece of the action.
So you want Governor Hogan there charging a toll for the gas going?
Not a toll, but having access to gas. So Hancock area would have the chance for gas. Maybe you would turn some good development land with natural gas in the Hancock area. You may, but there would be a definite just to let them go through Washington County underneath of the C&O Canal and underneath of the Potomac River, and we get nothing out of it. There's people in Hancock getting money out of it. Has anybody found out who in Hancock's getting the money?
Do you know?
Find out.
Okay.
So, Ron, let me get, you're not opposed to a pipeline going in. You just want Maryland and Washington County to have access and get their share.
He wants a slice of the pie.
So you're not concerned about any environmental concerns?
Yes, I'm concerned on how it's going to be done, because who suffers? The people in Hancock's not going to suffer. They've already got. The people in Hancock's not the one fighting it anyway. It's the people in Montgomery County. I am amazed that the mayor and city council of the city of Hagerstown is not raising a fuss about how it's being done, because we're the first water company coming down from Hancock that's going to be affected by it.
Well, they're going to watch the show and then they're going to hop on the bandwagon.
Well, they should. All of them should hop on the bandwagon, and so should the county commissioners.
So, what are your environmental concerns?
Actually, I don't. Having studied regarding other concerns of pipelines is the safest distribution system that we have. It's safer than rail. It's definitely safer than tractor trailers. It does more capacity at a lower cost. It's all beneficial. The environmental impacts that we have are with older pipelines that haven't had the same maintenance, haven't had the same degree. Now, my question for this TransCanada Pipeline, are we using American steel? Because I was told that the Keystone Pipeline was supposed to be using American steel.
Yeah, but the steel had already been ordered.
Steel had already been bought.
It had already been bought, so that wasn't true either.
So this is going to be 100 feet below the Potomac River.
Correct.
The Potomac River at that point is at a very narrow, correct?
Yes, and it's very low anyway, because everything else is elevated way above the Potomac River.
Okay. So from your perspective, Ron, what are your environmental concerns?
The environmental concerns are the safety guard, so to speak, that's going to protect in case there is an internal breakage in the line. How many cases are there? How many cases does it go through? How do you get into the cases? That type of thing is what.
Where's the shutoff? Where's the closest shutoff valve?
Amen. And then when you're doing that, at what point in Hancock, Washington County do we get something out of this whole thing?
So safety is going to be a concern no matter what we do, and safety processes need to be put in place to assure that they're safe. Is there in your mind is there enough safety processes that could be put in place that would make you say, okay, I'm okay with this?
Yeah, but I want to see them. The same as people in Cedar Lawn deserve to see how the Hagerstown Housing Authority is going to do the development. How is this going to be done specifically? Where is the shutoff valve? At what point can they turn a shutoff valve off? And is there a backup to the shutoff valve if that doesn't work?
Okay. This is going into West Virginia as well. Where is the approval process in West Virginia?
The river's us.
Right, I understand, but the pipeline goes into West Virginia. Yes, we have the part of it that goes under the river, but after it goes under the river, it's in West Virginia.
Which could come back.
But they're intending, by what you said earlier, they're intending for it to be a feed supply for P&G, Procter & Gamble.
And all other
and other business,
primarily for Procter & Gamble.
And my understanding, it was approved in West Virginia.
No doubt. Wouldn't you approve a nice gas line with gas coming out of Bedford County, Pennsylvania, through Washington County, Maryland?
Well, why can't we have gas from Allegheny and Garrett County feeding it?
Oh, another good point. Another good point. I just don't think our elected officials locally have dealt with the issue. That's the county commissioners and the mayor and council.
Okay. From a leak perspective, looking at all of the pipelines that TransCanada has installed in management, do we see that there's a problem with their safety record in the past?
I think they've been relatively good stewards of the environment. It's not the people that are not good stewards, it's the accidents that happen on things that create problems.
But I mean, we're in a fairly stable plate, so to speak. We don't incur earthquakes very much in this area. Only one I can remember in the last decade.
For years.
Yeah. So that's one of the things, and we're 100 feet down. So with being 100 feet down, that really removes it from outside elements of human intervention, potentially using. So it's more of an environmental. As you said, how many cases? How are they going to handle, the shiftment of the earth crust and things along those lines? I don't see there's a large environmental risk with this pipeline going in. In this part of the country, if it was somewhere out in the Midwest, which has earthquakes on a more frequent basis, or out in California, I would have a lot more concerns, but I think they would take the precautions in advance to try to mitigate those.
Yeah.
Ron, as a former elected official, as a former county commissioner for several terms in Washington County, if you were sitting on that board right now, what questions would you be asking? What would you be requiring from TransCanada to provide you in terms of providing feedback to the governor?
I would have the best people in Washington County and the state of Maryland determining how it was being put in to ensure that what was there was being done totally safe, with safety in mind of a leak. But I go back. If they're going to come through us, I want something out of it for Hancock and for Washington County and for the state of Maryland.
And you're not wanting a piece of the pie in terms of for every gallon that flows through. You just want access if we need it for our.
No, but I just like what you just said.
So Ryan, you think MDE, Maryland Department of Environment, potentially is not putting this through a rigorous enough test?
I think the MD is probably putting it through, but I think Governor Hogan can tighten the screws. I think Governor Hogan can say, whoa, we're going to just put a halt on this, and I want to make sure my state's being taken care of.
Okay, and on that, we'll end this segment. When we come back, though, we'll talk about how Maryland schools are combating the opioid crisis, or at least one way they are. Stay tuned.